Welcome to Converge 2021, powered by Walmart. This is the first ever tech in retail industry platform that brings great minds from Walmart and across the industry to collaborate, share, and learn to ultimately serve our customers, our partners, and community, and do good for the planet overall. It gives me a great pleasure to host this fireside chat with Jayanti Kanani, co-founder and CEO of Polygon. Over the next 15 minutes, we'll be discussing the future of payments and blockchain in retail. Let me start off by introducing myself. I'm Rinal Chatterjee. I'm VP Engineering at Walmart. I lead core services organization. I work off of their Bangalore office. I've had some experience with payments, both as a payments service provider and as a payments consumer. So, definitely not the level of understanding and the insight that Jayanti has. So I hope to keep this conversation engaged. Blockchain, looks like every week, there is something new and exciting that is happening. The technology is extremely promising in terms of what it can do for the business. And every industry is evaluating and implementing solutions leveraging this technology, and we see examples of this in supply chain, in smart contracts, land records, food supply chain, payments, and many, many more. I'm fortunate to have Jayanti here with me today. He is the co-founder and CEO of Polygon, the first made in India cryptocurrency unicorn. Polygon ranks among the top 20 crypto globally and has become a massive hit in India. He started Polygon in 2017 when he saw the big opportunity with Ethereum blockchain. Welcome, Jayanti. Super excited to have you in this conversation.
Thank you, Miran. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here and chat with you on blockchains and retail payments. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Jayanti. Before we start into this particular topic, I think Jayanti would love to sort of hear from you. What inspired you for Polygon, what opportunity that you saw, and, maybe shed some light in terms of how it has been for you.
Yeah, definitely. So just to reiterate on the Polygon side, Polygon is basically scaling solution for blockchain, particularly Ethereum. So if you see the blockchain ecosystem right now, the scaling is a major roadblock towards the adoption, right? And Polygon is basically trying to solve that. Back in 2017, when I was housing.com, I was kind of creating multiple side projects. I'm a developer, so you as a developer, you always go through your side projects and try to build something there. And I was kind of building a platform called Game of Theories, where you can bet on multiple TV series and film universe and go and then post your theories of this character will die in the next episode or this will happen, etc. And you put the money on the theory, right? And people can just bet on top of it. And if you're right, you get the money. Basically, that was the idea, side project idea. And then I started with that, and I wanted to integrate a payment system to this betting platform, right? And the problem is that I didn't want to create any kind of bank account or because it was just a side project, and then creating bank account or having a Paytm or Stripe account would mean that I had to register a company and multiple things. So I just wanted to avoid that and kind of just for the fun project. And so I started with I started exploring Bitcoin and Ethereum, right? The crypto thing, because I knew there is something going on in the crypto side where I can use that and integrate into my platform, and then people can use that to bet on the platform. So that was the simple idea. And then I kind of started exploring the crypto, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and then went deep into that. And then I ditched my side project and kind of went full time into the crypto. I started doing freelancing, and then at that time the Ethereum ecosystem, Bitcoin ecosystem were facing scaling issues, right? And people were discussing like how do we solve the scaling issues? And I thought like this is the best opportunity for me as a developer to start something which actually contributes to these communities. And that's how like Polygon started.
Jayanti, like I'm new into blockchain. Every time I read up, feels like my information is getting outdated in weeks, kind of thing. Like the industry is moving so rapidly. So maybe there's probably a lot of us, me included in the audience, who sort of constantly keep grappling with blockchain. So maybe help us understand the power of blockchain that you see, overall across the industry, and maybe specifically what you see as the big opportunity in retail and payments.
Definitely. The whole crypto scene is basically got a bad name because of the crypto and the other part of the things. But the actual thing is kind of, let's say, for example, right? For example, let's say if you want to send payment right now, let's say you want to send me payment right now, like you can always do UPI in India, but in India, right? But let's say if you want to send this money to maybe US and Singapore, right? It would take you for let's say 2 to 3 days for sure. It will basically kind of you will be charged with a forex exchange, and then fees for intermediary banks, and then your HDFC bank or any other kind of banks also can charges for the wire transfer. So you basically end up with multiple charges in between, right? And it will also take 2 to 3 days. This is okay, if I'm paying something, my money, while sending transactions, right? I hope like, even if I'm paying huge amount of money, it should reach like instantly or something like that. But it is not the case. There are multiple things in the background, right? But in blockchain, you can solve that basically. You can send transactions on the blockchain, can instantly reach to other party, counterparty in any part of the world very instantly. So that's a power of payment kind of on top of it. And on the retail side, I'm seeing a huge surge of kind of applications like Coinbase. Just kind of Coinbase has a product where you can buy. There is a widget built on the website, and you can buy any product, or kind of digital products. It can be any kind of product, art, NFTs on the blockchain. Just a click of the button, right? So that's a very powerful for the retailers. I'm also seeing many merchants are also accepting the kind of blockchain based payment around the globe. So that sense, kind of blockchain helps you, you kind of very easy payment acceptation from the users, and the P2P market, right? So I think globally, if you see in Africa as well, there is a one startup is kind of building P2P payment like similar to UPI based on the blockchain. So it will also increase the transparency for the financial institutes, right? And it is also easy for the users because they are holding the control of the fund they hold, right? So it's very easy for them, even if the bank infrastructure is not very well in Africa, like they are also kind of using this to build like directly UPI instead of going through the bank route. Yeah.
Yeah, no, fascinating. I think, Jayanti, what you mentioned, and it's true. I mean, I do from time to time have to do international wire transfer, and the process is cumbersome. The level of details that are needed, and then the whole time it takes, and the forex charges and things like that. So, definitely see a lot of value, and sometimes those transfers need to be time sensitive because there's probably it's part of the bigger transaction or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And to be very honest, as a retailer like Walmart, I mean, with the portfolio of things that we do, we are definitely sort of exploring and leveraging some of the blockchain in our supply chain, and most importantly, food tech, to make sure, how do we make sure that the food is of the quality by the time it reaches our shelf, and how do we do the tracking end to end in terms of how the movement of that item has happened through the system and things like that. So I think, Jayanti, question for you. If I'm a retailer, right, or a payments or a bank or something like that, or a payments intermediary, You talked about, as a consumer, there is a 4x, which I may be able to sort of overcome, or the speed of the transaction. What is it for a provider like a merchant or a bank or an intermediary in between? Why should they care?
Yeah, definitely. Of course, the intermediary lose some of the money in between when they charge multiple things in between. But upside is that you are basically saving a lot of time, resources, and money to managing your old legacy infrastructure, right? So, for example, let's say if you move the retail payments on the blockchain, your audit system is so easy for you, right? Like, because everything is kind of recorded on a blockchain, transparent. So that, it's basically gives it allows you to remove your audit, the whole audit legacy system right there, right? The second thing is that I'm also kind of someone told me, on the bank side as well, like, let's say when you do wire transfer and multiple other things, you also have some manual work in behind the scene for approval and multiple other things, right? That can be removed easily through the blockchain usage of the blockchain, right? So I think uh, the money you make in between is far less than the time and the money or resources you save on the other side of the thing if you use blockchain. So I think that's a win-win for everyone. And for example, right? Let's say take example of how it works. Before that, when ATM was not there, you were kind of you going to the bank like very 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 kind of let's say once a month, right? You go to the bank and withdraw the money, etc. When ATM comes, like no, you now like no going to the ATM like maybe once a week, right? So the usage actually increase, right? So if you make the infrastructure very easy, let's say for wire transfer or remittance, I think that also that part of the system, the usage will also increase, right? And then you, let's say if you take the some cut for the fee charges, that will basically give you a huge boost to your revenue as well compared to charging in between right now. So I think that this is a no-brainer that blockchain use can solve many things in between. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think you bring up a good point. And to be very honest, as a merchant, even like people like Walmart, we have a large base of suppliers, we have a large base of sellers, payment remittance, B2B transactions, and things like that. I mean, like you mentioned about, transparency in terms of transaction audit, that becomes so simplified.
Yeah, I mean, just wanted to make one point on the B2B side of the things. For let's say if you want to pay the invoices, right? Like via the international invoices, it takes like a 7 days of time to fulfill that invoice if you do in USD or through the banks, right? On the other side, if you let's say use the stable coins like USDC on blockchain, it hardly takes like 2 minutes, right? So that also saves the both parties time, right, on the financial term, if you see, right? So I think that's a great use of blockchain, I would say, right there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And switching gears a little bit, like as a consumer, right? I mean, I've got fairly comfortable with cash transaction, and India is predominantly still continues to be a cash transacting community, though payment digitization is through the roof, and COVID has definitely sort of shown that. So as a consumer, right, where I feel there is some amount of safety with my bank money in my bank account and things like that, and then blockchain, and as a consumer, to me, I've only seen coins as a blockchain, as a technology. Why should I care what is in it for me as a consumer? Are there safeguards that blockchain sort of provides me as a consumer in terms of safeguarding my transactions and things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there are multiple things. So first of all, let's say having a bank is also upside where you can revert your transactions after you send, right? But it's not good for the other party sometimes, right? Here, blockchain solves that. Let's say if you receive the money, the other party can't reverse that transaction, first of all, right? The second thing is that P2P, right? Like P2P is a huge in India, like through the UPI, but in other countries, like there is no way you can send P2P transactions. I was in South America and kind of went to watch a movie with friends, and when I asked, how can I pay the movie ticket? They said, give us a cash because there is no P2P transactions allowed here. Kind of there is no way to do that. Either you just send the bank-to-bank transactions, it will take 2 to 3 days, or just give me a cash, right? So there's that kind of the infra you can upgrade to P2P blockchains. Let's say if I'm traveling the world, let's say I'm US or maybe in Singapore, if I want to pay to my friends there, there is no way I can do that with that doing wire transfer, right? So there, I think there's a huge use case there. Of course, there is a uh, and yeah, of course, having a control over your fund is also important on the blockchain, right? Like let's say there are multiple identity platform where you can kind of control like who can access your data on the blockchain. Of course, like there is a part of the consumer facing products, right? Like currently, like there is no way you can control the kind of hide your financial data to any third party, right? There is no way you can do that. So, but now, like with the blockchain infrastructure for consumer, you can always do that, and you can provide a permission to access your data, financial history of your data. You can always kind of have access. You have a kind of control over your financial history. Basically, that's a major plus point for the consumer as well. Yeah.
Wow. Awesome. Jayanti, I mean, you have seen the world in terms of how the world is sort of evolving. I know the governments around the country, around the world are also sort of grappling with, how to leverage blockchain for their own infrastructure and always, and as well as, payments and remittance and things like that. Any interesting use cases that you have seen around the world through your experience that you thought is worthwhile for the audience to sort of, hear from you about?
Remittance, of course, is a best use case for the blockchain. I'm also seeing decentralized finance, NFT marketplaces, multiple games on the blockchains. I think those are the use cases you can see. You can build, any developer can come and build without any kind of permission. So if you, let's say, want to build financial infrastructures right now in the world, fintech world, you have to take approval from big institutions. You have to prove your background, your team, and the capabilities, and then you will get the approval and multiple other things, right? But in blockchain world, even college kid can come and build anything they want on the financial companies, right? So that is very powerful, and I'm seeing many products coming out of India as well. Few college kids are building remittance use cases on the blockchains for the world, right? So this is a great thing to build on blockchains. For example, there are two teams out of India. One is creating TransferWise on blockchain. So for example, let's say you can send money from Canada to your parents in India, right? Instantly. You don't need to go through the multiple banks and everything. You just send it and that's it. The second use case is that one team, college kids, of course, like they are 21 or so, 21 years. Both are brothers and they are building a neo-banking kind of product on blockchain. So you can use that product and interact with a multiple other financial product on blockchain, maybe transfers or deposit, kind of loan or exchange or etc. So those use cases, people are building without any kind of permission needed for the products, right?
Awesome. Jayanti, I mean, it's such a fascinating topic. I have a bunch of additional questions, but I'm sure like we'll probably run out of time. Jayanti, this was a fascinating conversation. I really appreciate you making time out of your busy schedule. I learned a lot through this conversation, and I'm sure like a whole bunch of read up to do to just keep up with this particular domain. So thank you very much, Jayanti, for your time. And thank you, audience. Hope this was useful to you. We'll see you again. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Imran. Bye.